Well, in this season of giving thanks, a story for you tonight about the greatest gift of all, the gift of life.
One family suffers an unthinkable loss. Another is looking for a life-saving miracle. It's a story tonight about pain, perseverance, love, and life.
I thank God every day, definitely. It's a blessing.
We know that it was supposed to happen.
The heart in 5-year-old Baeley Johanson's chest beats steady and true. But this heart has a story all its own because it changed the lives of two families.
It was giving out on her. It was giving out on her.
The heart now beating in little Bailey's chest used to belong to Payton Peterson, a bright-eyed, tow-headed toddler. His big, beautiful heart stopped beating one tragic day in October of 2004. As his father Jeremy backed out of the driveway, little Payton had wandered right behind the wheel and was run over.
We were praying for a miracle. Obviously, in our mind, it was for our son to live.
Jeremy and Amanda say in that moment, life as they knew it ended.
But shortly after, we both just realized that we did get a miracle. We saw a miracle in this little girl. They told me that she basically had a 20% chance of living.
Aubrey Jernberg's daughter Baeley had a critical birth defect. Her heart was failing and time was quickly running out.
And then when she was 2 months old, she went into heart failure.
Aubrey and her family were praying for a miracle. And then came the call. A perfect, healthy heart was available.
And I did know that everything was going to be okay.
The Petersons, too, had come to terms with the fact that Payton was gone, but took great comfort that a part of him would live on.
I wrote a letter to the parents of the little girl because at that time we didn't know who it was, and just saying that they were receiving a great heart, a very good heart.
One family's heartache and pain, another family's relief and anticipation all came together in a hospital waiting room.
So I went up to the couple and I said, "Are you guys here for a heart transplant?" And I said, "Well," I think that she's receiving my son's heart." And I remember she was so sweet. And she just gave me a big hug and she just said, "Oh, sweetheart."
It was definitely bittersweet. It was, it was quite an emotional ride being able to meet them.
I didn't know what to feel after already going through something with your own child and then knowing what happened to their child. It is really hard.
Through the Petersons' tragedy and pain came a second chance for Baeley. And on an operating room table, two families were forever joined together with the promise of a life-saving gift.
Like the first moment they set eyes on her, it was like that was their child. I mean, I remember just looking at the scar on her chest, and both of us putting our hands on her chest just to feel the heartbeat.
It has now been 4 years since these families first met. They keep in touch, they exchange photos, and share in each other's lives. And when Aubrey and Amanda do see each other, the emotion is tangible. They share a connection that very few mothers will ever really understand.
But I can't really tell her in words how thankful I really am and how much it really does mean to me that she made the decision that she made.
Some might say it's the most innocent and precious among us who can teach us life's biggest lessons.
He's our angel. He's definitely our angel, and I do feel him, and whenever I look at his pictures and I look into his eyes, I know that he was meant to be an angel.
An angel that lives on in the heart of this little girl.
What did Payton give you?
A heart.
A heart? And does that make him kind of special to you? It's a pretty nice present, huh? How do you feel about Payton?
I love him.
Sean, I was wondering, do families, that's a great story, do families that are involved in transplants like this, do they get to meet each other?
No, this situation is really rare, and I bet you can tell from the story these are two exceptional families with exceptional people involved.
it's really up to the donor and the recipient if they want to meet. Oftentimes it's too painful and there's too many raw emotions there and they kind of don't want to have that relationship.
Right.
In this case, they say it was very, very healing for everyone involved.
All right, the update on the little girl.
She's doing great.
What about rejection? Because a lot of times they'll reject a heart and they'll have problems.
Well, there's two amazing things. The day we met them was actually at Primary Children's Hospital for a checkup. No sign of rejection whatsoever. As we mentioned, it's been a little more than 4 years.
Wow.
And when they did the transplant, a lot of times it takes a lot of work to get the heart beating. In this case, it started beating immediately. She was out of the hospital in 6 days.
After a heart transplant?
From the initial transplant surgery, and oftentimes, especially with an infant, it takes months for them to be released from the hospital and to make sure everything's working well. And
great Thanksgiving story.
I know, they're amazing families.
Yeah, good story.